As I think it over, it seems to me that the high civilizations of the world have produced exactly three different views of the constitution of nature, of the physical universe. And to enumerate them, I would call them respectively nature as a construct, nature as a drama, and nature as an organism. The first view, nature as a construct, has until very recently been characteristic of the Western world. The view of nature as a drama has been largely characteristic of India, and finally of nature as an organism has been characteristic of the Far East. Why don't we start with the Western view of the world as a construct? The physical world has historically in the West been looked upon as a created or manufactured article, the work of a creator external to the world, and indeed obeying laws or plans in the same way as a machine obeys a blueprint, even though the lawgiver and the planner himself seems to have disappeared. The basic metaphor, though, underlying this is not so much the machine as the work of clay, the pot or the modeled figure. And so our language, our poetry is full of allusions. And because of this figure, it is, as I have often said, fundamental to our common sense that the world is formed matter in this Western view of the world as a construct. As soon as men began to understand mechanical principles, it became extraordinarily convenient to make analogies between various types of machinery and things to be found in the world. The successful measurement and description of nature depends upon the calculus, upon reducing it to parts, a sort of killing the world, reducing it from the living to the dead, from the organism to the machine. Let me just for a moment contrast the other attitudes. The Indian attitude of the world as a drama. In Hindu thought, the world is not thought of as being made or constructed by God, but as being actually God himself playing a game. The idea of one single divine actor who is playing all the parts of all the creatures in the world, imagining himself to be them, assuming, as it were, myriads of masks behind which there is simply one wearer of the mask, one divine substance which is of the nature of the Godhead or Brahman. From the standpoint of the dramatic view of the universe, all the divisions and distinctions of the world are looked upon as being in play. They are not quite serious. The word person is originally persona, the megaphone mask worn by actors in classical Greek drama. Then thirdly, there is the organic view, characteristic of China. The world is thought of as being self-moving and self-creating. The word for nature in Chinese means what is of itself so. When in the West a child asks its mother, "Who made me?" and she replies, "Darling, God made you," and the child asks, "But who made God?" she has to say, "Nobody made God." And that is a great puzzle to the child who thinks of the world as a construct. it may be explained to the child, if you like, that God makes himself. He exists of himself because he is existence. Well, if that's true of God, why couldn't it be true of the world in the first place? A world which is self-governing, not even through a president, but self-governing in every way, a great and colossal anarchism, which moves itself in the same way as you and I move our fingers without directing them in the sense that we know exactly what we're doing and how we move them. We don't. The Western view is probably what made it possible for us to develop our highly advanced technology. By thinking about the world as a construct, we caught on to the idea of thinking of all things as reducible to atoms, to parts, to bits. And then by thinking of bits, we found that we could measure the world very accurately, describe its regularities very accurately. And that gave us an astonishing degree of control over it. But this is a point of view which is successful to a certain degree. It goes well up to a certain level, after which it begins to develop complications. When it becomes commonsensical to us to look at the world as a mechanism, yes, it's a machine. It's a great, big, automatic, mechanical arrangement. We thereupon feel that it has nothing in common with ourselves, and perhaps even though we try to give the same sort of account of ourselves and try to reduce our brains and emotions to some kind of neurological computer mechanism, that makes us, in a way, hate ourselves. For as soon as we start thinking of ourselves as automata, we begin ethically and psychologically treating ourselves as automata. We lose respect for ourselves and feel that what is central to us is trapped in a cosmos that is a mechanical nightmare, foreign and strange. We can see ourselves as a kind of ghastly accident. Now, it has been suggested that the Western view, nature as a construct, has in some ways done its job, and that from here on we need to explore to a greater degree other views, perhaps the organic view of the Chinese, wherein we get a peculiar harmony of points of view with our own sciences, biology, ecology, and so forth. The problem here is an entirely new one, because we are so used to thinking of our problems of controlling and understanding the world in terms of the methods of mechanical science. Our academic world values only three kinds of intelligence, which is the ability to remember, computational intelligence, the ability to figure, and verbal intelligence, the ability to read, write, and talk. There is also social intelligence, and there is also kinesthetic intelligence, in which we learn as children to walk, to run, to throw and catch balls, and to do all kinds of extremely complex and very subtle actions without being able to describe or count what we're doing. Perhaps in handling far more complex matters, and catching balls, or skiing or riding bicycles, we may have unknown resources of kinesthetic intelligence for dealing with some of the problems that now face us. Here is the germ of an idea which Chinese culture and Far Eastern culture in general suggest to us. Perhaps they themselves have only dimly begun to explore these things, but I think that it's in that direction that the future of practical philosophy and government of the world may lie.